Hi, everybody. Nice of you to come here today. I'm Christian from 95.9 The Fox. You're at the Ridgefield Play. Hi. Can talk to every single one of you individually. So I'm very, very happy to be interviewing Mark Farner, I should say, ahead of his show here at the Ridgefield Playhouse. It's a lot of fun. He's been in a lot of very, very famous bands, a lot of famous acts, and there's a little bit of drama. So it's going to be really interesting to talk to him. So I'm pretty excited. You guys all come to the show tonight? Yeah. Every single one of you? Nice. I like the thumbs up. That's good. So, you ready? Hey, Mark Farner, here we go. How are you, sir? Nice to meet you.
And you. Look at that, I got one too.
Oh, yeah. Thank you for braving the blizzard to be here. I saw you landed in Newark, and it was a little snowy outside.
Yeah, well, I'm from northern Michigan, so the snow is nothing new to me.
I was going to say, are you used to this? Is this like your, environment?
Yes. It's part of who I am.
That's part of who you are. So listen, 1965, you're 17 years old. You're playing with Terry Knight in the Pack. Is that something you always wanted to do, like performing, writing songs, everything like that?
After I sustained a football injury and I couldn't play any more football or run track, my mother felt so sorry for me because she knew I lived to hear my name called out over that loudspeaker. That was Farner number 66 in on the tackle. Man, I would be prancing across that field. Did you see that? Wow.
What position did you play? Were you what position did you play? Defensive back?
I
safety?
was defensive linebacker over center.
Ooh.
Yeah, the roving reporter.
How did your style of performing come around? A lot of acts at the time stood still. They just kind of played and everything like that. You're all over the place. How did that come to be?
It seems like people like that better. And that's how I've developed my show. 1969, the first Atlanta Pop Festival, 180,000 people. I was up I had a long sleeve shirt on that was paisley, and it was kind of see-through. You could see my nipples through there and everything. And my manager at the time, he's going, "You got to wear that. That's beautiful." And so I get out there, and I'm sweating so bad, it's sticking to me. I could hardly straighten my arm out. It's stuck so bad. And finally, at one point, I hands the guitar to the tech, and I ripped this shirt off. I ripped it off because I had to get right back to playing.
You're like WrestleMania.
And at that point, those people got such a charge out of that. It was like, yeah! And I went, oh, hell yeah, that works. I'm putting that in my show.
There we go.
So I narrowed it down to just going out with a vest that came off after the first song and then bare-chested after that. Just
kept going from there. Is it bare-chested Mark Farner going to make a return tonight? Is that going to happen? It's a question you've probably been asked 10,000 times. What are the chances of a Grand Funk reunion?
With me, it's always been 100%. But with the other guys, and this is my take on it, I think if I shystered somebody and really put the screws to them, I wouldn't want that person around me for fear that they were going to do something back and retaliate. And I think that is probably what it is, because I don't have any of that in me. I forgive them. Just think if I didn't forgive them, that shit would eat your lunch.
You have a lot of reasons. Yeah, you have a lot of reasons not to. So I mean, to say that you can come up and just go, you know what? Yeah, I forgive them. That's you're a better man than a lot of people, in all honesty.
Well, it's seriously, that's the only way I can get peace, and that's what our world needs. It really is.
Have you talked to Don and Mel at all? How is your relationship with them? Do you speak to them like regularly?
I only speak to them in corporate meetings, which are, a lot of them are on a conference call. The last time I was actually with them, face to face, and we did a corporate meeting. I'm a shareholder of the corporation, but I don't have a say-so in anything they do. What happened is I signed my ownership of the trademark one night when Don Brewer came after a show and told me we all needed to sign our ownership to put it in the corporation for some kind of protective umbrella. And I didn't finish high school, and he went to law school. I'm figuring he's my friend. He's looking out for the band. Okay, I said, yeah, I'll do that. Then he says, okay, I'll go get the papers. And then as he's gone, I mean, this is after an after-show party. I'd been drinking.
Just a little bit.
It does affect your judgment 100% of the time. And so he went and got the papers, and I signed my life away. And so it's just hateful and mean coming from that side. And, you know, my boy broke his neck in 2010. He's quadriplegic, Jesse. And we take care of him at the house. You know, he's our son. And these guys have never said anything to me about it.
Regarding that?
No. Their attorney did, but they got them guys, so they've hardened their heart towards me.
Wow.
In such a way that I don't think they're going to want to put the band back together, to tell you the truth.
So even if there was a chance, they would just...
They wouldn't do it.
Wow. That's...
I tried to make it available for the last 20 years in every corporate meeting. Why we're still sucking air, all three of us.
Yeah.
Why don't we do it for the fans? How about that? Put everything else aside and just do it for the fans.
I was going to say, as you can see here, I mean...
You know,
clearly.
I'm a fan, too. And when the Beatles were all alive, I couldn't figure out, I'm thinking, why don't they do it for us? Why don't they just get back together for the fans? So I have that, because I am a fan, you know, and I know what it feels like to want to see that band.
Yeah, because the 50th year anniversary is coming up. I mean, On Time, August 1969, it's coming up next year.
Yeah.
So do you think, I mean, even that wouldn't spark any sort of conversation between them?
Well, I hope. I hope. But the last conversation was not good. But it's okay. I'm going out as Mark Farner's American Band. I don't even say anything about Grand Funk Railroad in my advertising.
It's true.
And I had to do that because when the promoter gets the contract, he's the only one that sees it and knows how it's supposed to be, formerly of Grand Funk Railroad. And if the O is small case instead of large, that's a violation. And they take that to that's part of the violations
Seriously?
they're listing. A little teeny. So, you know, it's kind of hard to deal with, but I understand the law about what the Bible says, stay out of the courts, because there's a bunch of bad people. Bad magistrates.
When you're
money is paid off.
When you're performing solo or with Mark Farner's American Band, when you're writing songs, do you feel like there's less pressure to get more songs out there? Do you have more time to be, you know, focus on things a little bit more? Is there more kind of condensed? Is it more pressured?
Because of my situation at home, I don't have the time that I used to have to be creative all the time. I mean, I'd be riding around the field on a tractor mowing the hay, and that drone of the engines going, and I'm writing a song to it. And I'd get off and run in the barn and write the first verse and go back and
go back to the inspiration.
Yeah. So I don't have that kind of time in it, but I'm writing, and what I'm writing is it's coming out of my heart, and some of it makes me cry. You know, I'm serious. It's it's dealing with life.
I'm Your Captain, Closer to Home. How did that song come about?
That song was the answer to one of my prayers. I say my prayers every day, every night. Now I lay me down to sleep. I pray the Lord my soul to keep. You know, the one our parents taught us. And on the end, I always put a P.S., and I bless everybody in the family that's still alive. And then I said, God, would you please give me a song that would reach and touch the hearts you want to get to? And I got up at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning and wrote the song, but I didn't know it was a song yet, because I'm always writing. And my wife goes around and picks up the little napkins and pieces of papers that I've got stuff on, and then I can put a song together out of that. But I went in, I made my coffee, and I'm looking at the horses out in the pasture. I pick up my George Washburn flat-top guitar, and I start playing, and I'm like, wow, that was pretty cool. You know, it's like, it just came, and then I hit that, and that C. I'd never hit that C that way, ever. But I said, I'm going to hit it that way from now on. It sounded good, you know. And I took it to rehearsal that day because I got the words, and I just started singing them. And that's the way it came out. And I took it into rehearsal, and I said, we got these things. There's moments in the song that are going to depart from it, but it's going to come back to it. You know, we're going to take an adventure. And the guy that used to be the band leader for the Upbeat show in Cleveland, Ohio, Tommy Baker, did all the orchestration. And he says, Farner, when you get to that part and you're done and you're letting it wander, just go. Just keep going. Just keep going. Refrain after refrain after refrain. And so we were, you know, looking at each other in the studio, and I'm going, I'm like 5 minutes of this. I wonder if 5 minutes is enough. It turned out to be 9 minutes long.
9 minutes. Wow. What's your favorite song to play live?
I'm Your Captain.
I'm Your Captain? That's
yes.
far and away the best one.
This was before there was any videos. And I think, I heard that Simon and Garfunkel's Bridge Over Troubled Water, that they had asked 100 different people, what does that mean to you? And they got 100 diverse definitions, all different. That's beautiful. It's like when somebody reads a book and they go to see the movie sucks. It does, because it's not as good as our imagination. But our imagination got stifled with these music videos. It's like one thing. It's not 100 different things. It's one thing. It's what that video says. It's very marginal. And it's part of the dumbing down that's happening to this country.
That's a great segue into my next question. You've been playing music since the mid-'60s. What culturally and what musically, that's good that you brought that up, has changed in the better for you, as far as you've seen it from a musician's point of view, and changed in the negative point of view? How has that changed?
Well, in the days when Grand Funk was coming up, you could take your record that you just went down to Nashville and cut in somebody's garage, and you could walk into the record station, you know, at the radio station, and say, would you play this? And Bob Dell, WTAC in Flint, yeah, give me that thing. Let's see what the hell they like this. You know?
I don't know if that's going to fly now. I don't know if
you
it
can't do
work.
that now because of, in 1995, there was the deregulation of the FCC. Prior to 95, you could own 7 AM, 7 FM, 7 television stations, and that kept it in the hands of U.S. families, moms and dads, grandfathers, grandmothers, who had moral conscience over what our children were seeing and hearing. In 95, when they deregulated, the people who print the money for this country took over most of our terrestrial radio stations, and not only the radio but the television. And there's an agenda. It's switched, and we're out here in the middle of all of this. The coasts are, you know, swinging both ways, and all this crap is coming from Hollywood. And if it ain't a bang bang, shoot them up, kill them, let their guts out, chop their head off. It's like, what the hell is this about? Is this desensitizing our young people so taking a life ain't so hard on the conscience? Is that, you know?
Yeah.
It desensitizes. I couldn't even stand to watch some of those video games that the kids were playing. So what the hell? Why do they want to do that in the first place? But then you get 911, and you get a never-ending war on terror, and you got all these kids, they're just kids. They go, and they're going because they're soldiers. You know, they're going because that's who they are, and in their mind, they don't know all the intricacies, and that this war is bullshit, that it came from a lie. That, you know, that's why it's hard for me as a father of 5 sons to see what's going on, and I always honor our veterans and our active military and our shows, and I always will, and I always play I'm Your Captain for them, because they need to be remembered. They need to be recognized. And part of this ownership of all of the radio and television stations is they keep that stuff from us. They don't want to play on our heartstrings. They don't want to give us something that's going to cause us to feel sorry or to have a heart for our veterans. They want them to be this macho, you know, SWAT team-looking crap.
Kind of just remind you of Vietnam
Yeah.
back in the day, in the early 60s.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
it's crazy how that is it's almost parallel now. It's weird because I was born a year after that deregulation. I was born in '96, so I don't know anything other than that. So when you talk about like what it used to be and how interesting, how much better it was.
Oh man,
I don't know anything other than what I've been brought up in.
Yeah, but I hope you can understand. I think you feel there was a big difference. The freedom we had. My song in 1975, Bad Time to Be in Love, was played more than any other song that year. It didn't go to #1, but it was played more than the one that did. It went to #3. The reason it went to #3, my fans were calling in and saying, play Bad Time. Seriously, and you don't have that today. You don't have the people's input. It's our heart needs to be in that radio and in that television. Instead, we're getting stomped on, shit on, pissed on. You know, it's not good. It's not good. So at my shows, I encourage us to be who we are.
I like it.
Yeah.
What did critics not like about your band? There you go. You can applaud. It's all good. What did critics not like about your band? About Grand Funk Railroad? What was it about you guys that really just rubbed people, critics really, the wrong way?
Terry Knight, our first manager, said, we're going to create a mystique around the band by not letting you do any interviews with the press or anything. He says, I'll do the interviews. It gave him an opportunity to tout his managerial skills. And then one year, and I think it was 71, Billboard and Cashbox, Terry Knight bought the centerfold, which, you know, folds out of the great big magazine. And it's him going like this to the world.
Nice.
Right? It's him flipping the world off. And that was what he wanted to do with his life. I mean, it really made him happy to do that. But this is the guy who was stabbed to death 28 times by his daughter's boyfriend, and, you know, bad stuff came to him. I don't know if that was karma, you know.
Did you ever talk to him, like, obviously before he passed? Did you have a healthy relationship with him, or was it just, like, non-existent?
Even though he took all my publishing,
True,
which is half of the royalties, the publisher gets half, the songwriter gets half. He took half, and then he took a manager commission of mine. Wow. But I got through that, and I told him, I said, look, I forgive you for screwing this band over. And we know you took that $1.5 million in Europe and stuck it in your bank account. We did a European tour and never got paid.
For the entire tour?
For the entire tour.
Not one cent?
Not 1 cent.
Wow.
Yeah. On that same tour, we came back, we were in Paris, France. And Mel had the flu or something. He was very puny, he was feeling bad. And I went up to his room, and I walked in, I said, Melvin, how you doing? He says, Farner, I'll tell you what, man. He says, I feel so bad, I'd have to get better to die. He says, for 2 cents, I'd leave this place and go home. I reach in my pocket, I throw 2 pennies out on the floor. He says, are you serious? I said, pack your shit. I went and I got the rent-a-car, the Mercedes, pulled it up front. Mel and I got our bags, and we went to the airport, and we flew home. And I called over to the hotel to talk to the road manager from New York City. Where are you? Yeah. We got sound check in an hour. I said, good luck on that one.
It's going to be a little bit tough to do that. We're about 3,000 miles away. That's unbelievable. The Shea Stadium. Stadium, you sold it out in 72 hours. How the heck did you do that in 72 hours?
The fans. And, you know, the fact that there was no Ticketron, no electronic, you know, you had to go there and buy them. Right on. And some people camped on the lawn out front, you know, of the stadium. There was tents. I remember seeing pictures of people. They go, yeah, we were there, you know.
It's like Woodstock.
Yeah, it was a big deal. And to watch the bleachers bouncing like this as we're flying over in a helicopter. Humble Pie is on stage at second base, and the whole place was going like this.
Wow.
The fire marshal almost stopped that show because they thought the thing was going to collapse. There was so much movement, you know.
Oh, my God.
But when it came to closer to home, and I'm your captain, I could almost stop singing because the audience was louder than the PA.
Wow.
It was a phenomenon. It was, I'm playing through amps that are, you know, kicking ass. And, I mean, we are playing, and these voices came to the stage, and just, they were louder than everything. Wow. That's, you get 55,000 voices coming your way, that's big speaker.
I was about to ask, you go up onto that stage, and you look out, and there's 55,000 people. What are you feeling? Before you hit that first note, what are you feeling?
I really got to pee bad.
Oh dear. What do you think is more pressure, to play a small show or to play like a Shea Stadium, like a huge arena, where you can see every single face in an intimate show?
I think it's more, we get more critical in the smaller venues, you know, because when you got that many people and they're that far away from you, you could trip and they wouldn't see it, you know?
Right.
But when you're this close, you better not fart.
You got a whole bunch of people looking at you like, all right, say something funny. Say something funny. Who is your guitar idol? Who's the one person where you just went, oh
Jimi
my
Hendrix.
God.
Jimi Hendrix.
That's a good one.
Yeah, he was like, before I started playing guitar, I would listen, and he would make that guitar sing, or he'd make it cry. In the Wind Cries Mary. Oh, man. Yeah.
Did you ever get to meet him before he passed away?
I hung out with him several times.
What was he like in person?
He was a very humble, meek man, a loving individual. I came off stage at Fillmore East, and Terry Knight was in front of me. It's the first time he'd ever opened a door for me. And he opened my dressing room door. I'm going, what the hell is this? And I turn, and there's Jimmy standing there. And I go, whoa! You know, all I could say was, you're a good guitar player.
Surprised he didn't say, I know. I think I know.
No, he just had that nice little grin that came across. But we played Randall's Island together. That was one of the last dates that we did together. And Rabbit, Jimmy's right-hand man, came to my dressing room because we had already been on. And he says, Jimmy wants to see you over in his dressing room. And I said, okay. So I walk over, and, you know, these guys got these snow drifts lined up on the desk there.
Oh, okay.
And the guy hands me a rolled-up $100 bill, and I go, no, I don't do that. I've never done that, you know. Thanks.
Thank you, but no thank you.
But I'm not even interested in that. And then Jimmy says, Brother Mark, he says, you know I wouldn't give you nothing that would hurt you. And I thought, God, that's my Guitar Heroes. And this guy goes, tsh, and he's got a switchblade, and he stuck it in the end of one of them. He said, just do one side. And so I said, and that, it went past my brain. It went out through here someplace. I didn't know what it was. It was a mixture, I find out, of heroin and cocaine.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
How can you be alive?
And I watched those guys as I'm like still flipping out because it's hurting, it's pain. I thought, God, why did I do that? So they went out, got on stage, and Jimmy's like, you know, he's left hand. He's going like this, and the guitar neck's over here. Oh. He's missing it by a foot. Those guys took that and snorted everything that was, I'm talking lines like that, looked like snowdrifts.
Oh, my God.
And so he gets out there and tries to get this young man with long blonde hair, bell-bottom jeans, shirtless, no shoes and socks, walks out across that stage. I don't even know where the hell he came from. He walks out, he grabs Jimmy's hand and the guitar neck, and he makes a marriage. You're like, okay, there you go. And so he starts playing, tried to play, but everything that he did just sounded like he was hitting the wrong chord, the wrong note. he wasn't playing with the other guys in the band. You know, it was like
He was just.
he was off someplace. Wow. And I was sitting on top of the cab of the equipment truck. It was a box truck. I'm leaning up against the box. I'm on a packing blanket, and I'm watching my guitar hero out here lose his shit.
That's a sobering feeling.
Yeah, it is. And when he got into this Echoplex thing, it went wow, 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 and my mind started going wow, wow, wow. With this, I wake up. I'm on the ground. I'm looking up, and there's all these faces down there looking down at me like this, you know. And there's like, what happened? You fell off the truck, Farner. It's like, Lord have mercy.
That's unbelievable. So I know you did a show in Cape Cod about, the focus was about substance abuse. You never touched any of that sort of stuff.
No.
You never were into that sort of thing.
I was into smoking pot.
That's it?
That's it.
That's the whole thing? Were a lot of your band members, I mean, obviously some of the band members, were they into that sort of thing? Did that affect the relationship at all between you guys?
I think, yeah, I won't say who, but I think that definitely had something to do with personality and change, and because it makes you somebody you're not. Could you tell? Gives you a different person to be.
Yeah, could you tell when somebody, like in one of your bands or in somebody that you watched, could you tell when they were on something?
Yes.
Wow. What is that like, basically just knowing that, oh boy, we're down a man.
Yeah.
This could be a problem.
It gives you the queebs. I tell you, oh man.
Somebody who's never been to a Mark Farner show, what can they expect?
They can expect to hear a lot of Grand Funk music.
A lot of Grand Funk.
And I'm proud that I wrote every song that we played at Shea Stadium. That was all my music that sold that stadium out. That was American Band was back in, what, 73 it was, came out. So that being said, people, they like it because I'm honest in my music, and I am who my songs say I am. And that's who they come to see.
I like it. Is the story about we're an American band, you guys being on tour with Humble Pie, after the show, Don listing off all of these famous people and going, we're an American band. Is that a true story?
No.
Ooh.
No. Lynn Goldsmith, our publicist, says to Andy Cavalieri, our manager at the time, those guys need to write a song about who they are. They're an American band. She is the one that got that whole thing started.
Does she get credit for that at all?
She never got credit. And she was the one who came up with the gold record, you know, the yellow. There was 100,000 of the millions that were sold. The first 100,000 were all yellow vinyl. And that was her idea because the slogan, the ad slogan was, we're shipping it gold, which kind of led you to believe it had already sold that many albums.
Right.
We're shipping it gold. No, we're talking about the color.
Truth in advertising.
She was smart. She's still smart. And she did All the Girls in the World Beware and Shining On with the 3D glasses. That's all Lynn Goldsmith.
Wow. I didn't know she was behind this. She does not get credit for that.
Man, no, she didn't.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah, Andy Cavalieri took the credit. And ain't that like a man to do that? Have some
Take it away?
Yeah, and then he's going to get the credit. That's crazy.
I don't get it. Well, Mark, thank you so much.
Yeah,
I really appreciate it.
my pleasure.
I'm looking forward to the show, man. I really am. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mark Farner.